Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Oi!
Oi is right.
Oi is right, because of the boys ending.
Is that why? Because it has been a lot. I mean, this whole week you could say the political climate is
Rising up and crashing through.
And cutting through the bullshit, getting straight to it. It's your boy Doc.
And Ziggy.
And we are
The Flood.
That's right, your favorite weekly pop culture digest, here to take the news happening around you and discussing how it's shaping the culture that defines you with our pop perspective.
To put the culture in context.
And make the mainstream make sense.
Because if we don't make sense, we don't make...
What happens?
Holla!
And if you hear me, and you can hear us at the Flood Pod on everything, and that is on everything. And my God,
Let's just screw a cold open. So I guess let me run down some stuff that we got to talk about.
How do you do a cold open when the news is just heating up over the week?
God, what a goddamn 2-week stretch.
I mean, good Lord. Like, I know since COVID, it has been a internet running gag to say we're tired of living through historical narratives. But, oh man.
It's not really a joke anymore.
It wasn't a joke.
Bernie Sanders said, he was like, politics should be boring. Like...
Yeah. Politics should be like golf. Boring enough that only rich white people want to play. It's like, no, I'm kidding. That's what Project 2025 is for. Good gravy. Go ahead. Tell them what's going on this week.
So, for starters, as of about 2 hours ago, Joe Biden dropped out of the race.
That's 2 hours ago, 2 weeks ago, if you're listening to this when it drops.
I've been getting it out earlier than that. Leave me alone.
So by the time you're hearing this, it is more than official. Joe Biden is leaving. Not the White House, but he has officially declined to reinstate his candidacy as the Democratic nominee for president.
He's not the only one who's stepping aside. Another media mainstay for over 20 years, Skip Bayless, is quote-unquote retiring.
Quote-unquote? First take, quote-unquote. It's like, nah, that one's actually happening, and it's sad. What else do we got?
Well, The Boys just had its season finale, and I know that you are not hip on The Boys, but there are some things I still would like to talk about with you.
I mean, it's not about us, it's about the listeners, right? And we know you guys watch The Boys, even if I don't necessarily or should be keeping up with it, right? I did see that this episode might have been a little close to home, though, with some of the events that, no pun intended, right?
It was a little close!
To Homelander. What else do we got, Zig?
So, speaking of Trump, I mean, the Republican National Convention also happened. Team USA almost lost to a country that is less than 20 years old.
What? How does that even... Alright.
We had two of the biggest digital fuck-ups happen within the same week.
Yeah, like back to back. Right? It's all so much. It's all so very much. I'd like to get off now, please. I'd like to go back to the boring timeline where Al Gore won the presidency and
Harambe was still alive.
Fucking just rip the ozone layer wide open. Cause, good lord, they are down here cooking regardless. Let's get into it. Joe Biden has dropped out of the fucking presidential race. Which, at this point, I feel like was...
Should we read his formal statement?
I don't think it's necessary. At the point that anybody is listening to the pod, I'm sure that they have heard the formal statement. What is of the foremost importance, though, is that he immediately endorsed Kamala Harris.
And here's my take on Kamala Harris. What's great about Kamala Harris? Not much.
Damn.
You know what's bad about Kamala Harris? Not much.
I don't want to call
You can't fuck up vanilla ice cream. We're gonna disregard the fact that...
I don't want to call Kamala Harris vanilla ice cream, right? But it does feel like well, fuck. I mean, what else do we got?
It's hard to fuck up an original Hershey bar.
Not to say that she wasn't somewhat of the front runner last time around, right? Last time she ran for president, she made it pretty far on her own, right? She was doing better numbers than Nikki Haley was running against Trump.
Yeah.
Right? As a matter of fact, it was up until Bloomberg entered the race, right, that she was looking like she was ready to surpass Joe Biden. So I think she could do decent numbers to unite Democrats. But taking on Trump, though, right, how do you see a Kamala versus Trump debate?
Kamala can read past the second line on a vision exam chart.
He's like, anything that's better than what Joe did. I mean, alright, that is fair, right? The bar is fucking low, like osteoporosis, you can't get any lower than what this bar is.
Look, here's the choice if it was between Biden and Trump. Would Biden finish the security briefing, or would Trump burn it before reading it?
It really was turd sandwich and douchebag levels of voting choices. I don't feel like this is necessarily any better.
This is a turd sandwich versus like a Lunchable. It's not great. Pre-packaged.
The Kamala slander is crazy.
But you'll eat it. You'll probably be happy about it for a little. It tastes fine.
Are we talking about voting for Kamala Harris or
Lunchables? We're talking about Lunchables.
You're talking about eating Kamala Harris's Lunchables?
No, I'm talking about Lunchables literally.
She's gonna be president, sir. You can't talk about her like that. Hey.
And the nickname, of course, going around is Mamala Harris.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if she's got mommy energy. They are calling her the DEI president on the other end, though, and I'm just like, hey, any way you can make that. DEI shouldn't even be a racist term. Like, that's what I hate about racists, right? They will take a perfectly good thing and fuck it up for everybody.
It's gonna be weird when human resources go, man, we need to hire a straight white guy.
That's what
they won't complain about it then!
That's what they... I mean, did you see what they did to J.D. Vance? They found out his wife was an Indian lady, and they were like, sir, I thought you've been showing up to the meetings this whole time. We've wondered why your wife hadn't been to any of the bake sales. Is it because she likes that curry shit?
The biggest problem with JD Vance to me is he is like a Magic the Gathering player.
I thought you were gonna say like a fervent bigot who just
happens to be a Magic the Gathering player. And the thing is I looked at him and I was like,
do you think?
And I heard that and I was like, fuck, you do look like a Magic the Gathering player.
Do you think he bitched about the Acolyte? How many tweets do you think JD Vance has about the black Halle Berry the black Little Mermaid? Right? Like, I saw a couple of TikTok pages going over like his tweets and stuff, and I mean, obviously, right? Like, we knew.
Does he have tweets about Magic the Gathering?
I didn't see any tweets about Magic the Gathering. I did see lots of like just cringe, rage baity, anti-abortion.
How'd you find out he plays Magic the Gathering?
You told me.
And I found out on the internet today. Shout out to Ricky Elliott.
Doing their research, doing the good work. It's been a very, very interesting week. I think Trump's choice of JD Vance as his VP, right? It's clearly a call to the Gen Xer, the millennial Republican crowd who thinks that Trump may be getting a little up there in the Biden age, right? You know, and they're like, they don't necessarily want this old guy running the country either. And when they see that he's got some youth and some vigor standing behind
we have somebody running now who cannot legally collect Social Security checks.
JD Vance is like the Darth Maul to the to the Sith Lord, right? I was trying to think of General Power.
No. He is the Sasuke to Orochimaru. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
I don't think JD Vance has the kind of heart to do a turnaround like Sasuke did. I think you're giving his Indian wife a bit too much credit there. Like she will convert him to do the right thing in the end. I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll turn around and let the leopards eat her face. Shout out to Jessica, right?
Yeah, he'll end up like Neji.
Sometimes I think they'd be fucking around, bro. Cause like, what was that? Who were they trying to get out of the way with that?
I don't know.
It's clear that the GOP is really trying to get some shit out of the way. I can't wait to see how they react because they haven't come to a concise narrative on their opinions of Joe Biden jumping out of the race.
Like, what are they gonna say now? Like,
I did see
Joe Biden was really old. Yeah, Kamala's like 54. Like,
not only that, Joe made it a point, and both Joe and Donald made it a point to like mention that when Trump got, grazed in the ear, Joe called and gave his condolences and his sympathies to the family. The second Joe Biden dropped out, Donald hopped on the fucking timeline and was like, Crooked Joe can't keep up with me. I told y'all he wasn't fit to run this country. Everybody knew it. Even Nancy fucking Pelosi with her hammer-headed ass knew. She told Barack, they pulled Barack up out. I'm sure him and Michelle was sitting there like, Joe, you gotta do it. You gotta drop out. Donnie's gonna wash you. They knew I was gonna wash you.
Meanwhile, all of us are like, yeah. I mean, you're right.
No, I don't even think he's right. Because once again, during the debate, despite Joe Biden's performance, he still did a good job at getting across the point that they are actually putting in work, while all Donald is doing is fear-mongering, right? Like, Donald stuck to Brandon. He does what he does best, and he brand managed when he went out there on the debate, and he happened to be put in a situation where Joe had absolutely no energy, bro. And then they followed it up with the Ronald Reagan play, right? So now this nigga looked like a war hero, even though he dodged the draft, right? Here we are in a situation where because both you and I are begrudgingly Democratic, right? Or Democrats.
It's one or the other, right?
No, and it shouldn't be. That's part of the problem.
Exactly.
But here in the timeline that we live in, it was crazy to watch the Democratic Party, even like AOC and Bernie Sanders were like, no, we gotta stick behind Joe. Y'all don't understand, like, Joe is really the truth. Y'all just haven't seen him like we seen him. Joe got COVID. He got COVID now. That's why he wasn't able to talk that night. It's not because we forgot to give him his applesauce with his daily vitamin mix in it. No, it's not because they made sure they pumped Donald with as much fucking Adderall as he could fucking possibly stand, right? Like, no, it wasn't. That's not any of it at all. what actually happened is Joe was just sleepy because he has COVID, and now he's going to go rest on a farm somewhere in Delaware for the rest of his peaceful days. You did good, Joe. You can go on home now.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, like, I think everybody at this point could just kind of, like, stop shitting on him, because...
No, fuck that, because he was looking real old man Steve
well,
Rogers,
yeah, but,
bro.
like,
Everybody
absolutely.
was like, Joe, drop out, and he was like...
No, I don't think I will.
Now that he is, like, still at a reasonable time, like, I guess at this point we kind of be like,
I don't know.
alright, he's got a few more months, and, you know, he did some stuff.
If it is a reasonable time. Yeah, now I want Joe to go real dark Brandon. You can make up for all of that donor money that could have gone to a potentially better... I'm not saying Kamala Harris isn't a good candidate to run against Donald Trump. I just feel like at this point in the play, she's got a lot of leg room to make up for. And she's lucky she gets the benefit of being already on his ticket to inherit the rest of those funds.
You know what's
right?
a great thing for making up legroom? The ability to walk! She can walk!
Joe can walk, he just doesn't remember where he's going by the time he takes like 5 steps, right? There's a difference.
If you have to qualify she can walk or he can walk, that's a problem!
We're not there yet, and that's disrespectful to FDR and JFK, who both were regularly in wheelchairs.
Yeah, but they could read past the second line on the vision chart. If you can't do either...
Well, Joe can walk, so you're not...
Vision chart!
Yeah, but you said if you can do either, anyway.
Alright, you gotta be able to do... Alright, you gotta be able to do... At least be able to pass the...
And
Look, Joe's old, okay?
There should be a fucking age gap, but what I really want Joe to do is use the senile narrative that they've painted him with to just do all kinds of kooky shit with the new presidential kingship that the Supreme Court has given you, bro.
He's like, alright, I'm done after this. I guess kill Trump.
We're gonna extend the Supreme Court to 13.
Nah, we'll just get rid of it.
We're gonna put we'll put term limits on it. We're gonna extend it to 13 people. Because obviously you guys are wilding right now.
Lower the voting age to 13. You can now vote on TikTok.
Yeah, like just go full dark Brandon now. Joe, you have no reason to hold back. They have chastised you into letting go your dreams of defeating Donald Trump with your own bare hands. Make it as difficult as possible for him if he does think he's going to win, Joe. That's what I need.
You know what? Just base the U.S. currency on Magic the Gathering cards.
You have gone from old man Steve Rogers to the Juggernaut. I need you to go full Juggernaut on the legislature.
Is you made that up?
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
Look that man in the face and say, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. This is my country, Donald. Like, go ahead.
Donald, this is my country.
I was ready to go all in on Joe Biden. Pause. It doesn't even feel like a relief like it should be, right? Because, like, they drug this shit out for so long that now I'm really just stressed about, like, I don't think I would be so stressed out if Donald wasn't absolutely milking this fucking assassination attempt for all that it was, right?
You know what's crazy about the assassin, from what I heard? Attempted assassin? He was just Googling basically any major pop figure that was within reasonable driving distance of his house at the time. Like, he was, like, looking up Joe Biden appearances, Donald Trump appearances, like, he literally just wanted to shoot someone famous.
Hey, listen, you keep talking, but all I hear is conspiracy, because let me tell you something. The more they dig into this dude and the more they just find bland information, I'm like, hey, where Alex Jones at, bro? Cause let me tell you, I don't know.
Honestly,
there are
for real?
two camps now. We couldn't have gone into this we could have gone into this a little bit last week, and I know you've been trying to stay out of this territory, but it's two conspiracies that that people are landing on like either side of at the moment, and it's either Donald faked it so he could,
Yeah, it's QAnon versus Blue Anon.
yeah, or the CIA. And like what really leans me to, it was the CIA trying to take Donald out and get Joe Biden elected is the fact that, and what I have heard nobody really mention is the police that Donald claims love him so much, and the Secret Service kind of almost let that shit happen, bro. Like the man that says the fucking police unions have my back, like the FBI, like they all support me, the army, I've got their votes and shit like that. It was like 2 shots went off before they made Don get to the ground, bro. This nigga ear got clipped. His ear got clipped.
He got Evander Holyfield.
Man, listen.
I can't believe that Donald and I have something in common. We both have survived shootings now.
I would not be surprised if that nigga dropped to the floor and grabbed a blood pack real quick and, just... Listen, he's been on the WWF. He's been on the WWE.
Yeah.
He's wrestled quite a bit, right? He's been on there like 2 or 3 times. Slim, I'm sure he know how to...
Donald Trump has been on there. Jon Stewart's been on there.
I'm sure Don knows how to get... Yeah, man, the fucking RNC was just an absolute, just dick flute fucking concerto, right? Just glazing. Just the immaculate symphony of glazing of Donald Trump. Oh, our Lord and Savior. Have you seen...
Once again, they threw blame everywhere at the Democrats and not one solution was offered.
Bro, they blaming Barack Obama for Donald Trump getting shot. They are walking around with ear bandages on like fucking people were wearing the Nelly Band-Aid on the cheek in the early 2000s.
I think it's one of the things I think that's really funny. People are like, oh, you can get Michelle Obama as Kamala's running mate. I'm pretty sure Michelle Obama never wants to step foot in Washington, D.C. ever again.
Fam, I need you to understand.
By all accounts, she had a miserable time as First Lady.
People are walking around the RNC wearing Make America Great Again hats with ear bandages.
Do you think if we took pictures of 2024 America back to 2016 and said, if he wins, this is what happens, people would actually be like, oh, okay.
You remember how everybody acted when the stardom of Barack Obama really started to rise across the country, and people started to see how charismatic and he really started to be in the faces of America. Barack Obama is probably one of the most charismatic.
Oh no, absolutely. But his rise before he was president, I remember
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Bro, wasn't nobody running around. If Barack Obama would have if they would have tried to shoot Barack Obama, it would have been a whole different situation.
I remember hearing stories of Secret Service was sweating bullets when they said that him and Michelle wanted to walk down the street.
Yes, we can was the logo, right? And I do remember that it was not like us at the time, right? Yes, we can was just and Republicans was Steph Curry, oh my God, can they say something else, please? Y'all act like ain't nobody else running for president.
I did see that. And LeBron was just I like it. Play it again. God, Drake gotta feel so bad.
I'm surprised. And look,
LeBron is saying to run back the Drake diss track at the fucking Olympics.
Yeah, the RNC had so many guest appearances. I'm almost surprised that Drake didn't show up. It was like, fuck it, I'm Republican.
Amber Rose, Hulk Hogan.
Bro, first of all, Amber Rose being up there talking about she believes that Trump is for the families and all. Like, the absurdity of fucking peach fuzz head tramp, the billboard stamp, because it's not even a tramp stamp, right? It's on the front of her fucking forehead.
It looks like a stitch on Mahito's face.
It looks like a fucking Jared Leto Joker concept reject, right? That's what the fuck it looked like. Like, what if we tattooed my name on Harley's forehead? Right? How much do you think they paid her, bro? Cause, like, do you think they paid her?
Too much.
Or do you think she volunteered? That feel like the kind of thing you gotta volunteer.
They paid her too much for the notoriety of Amber Rose in 2024.
Don was looking at her the whole time like, who let this bald-headed tattoo bitch? This is who we want to represent the Republican. She's not in Project. Where in Project 2025 does it say bald-headed tattoo bitch? I can't. And then fucking Hulk Hogan gonna get up on stage with his old greasy ass, like, and rip his shirt. Like, no, like the ultimate boomer.
Randy Savage would never.
God, man. I wish Macho Man was still alive. Like,
Bonesaw! Alright, those Spider-Man movies will forever be great because of Randy Savage as Bonesaw. At least the first one.
fam, the RNC was an absolute fucking cringe fest.
I watched Internet Today, Ricky Elliott, and apparently the RNC causes massive spikes in grinder usage in the area.
Yeah, because all the niggas is closeted as fuck. Did you see the way they were glazing Donald Trump? They would all love for the opportunity to be Stormy Daniels. Nigga, is you fucking kidding me?
Matt Gaetz would love to be Stormy Daniels.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't pick Matt Gaetz as his running mate. But I think, like, having two convicted... I guess Matt isn't a convicted sex offender yet. But two sex offenders on the ticket might be a little...
Gay? Nah, not for Donald.
I mean, Gates literally got a human trafficking. Like, Gates got a freaky ass charge. Why is he around?
Well, we haven't really abused the algorithm in the past 2 weeks, at least during the episode.
Oh.
Not Like Us is still number one, by the way. We haven't done this hit on the algorithm for the past 2 weeks.
I mean, because it is Not Like Us, but...
Not Like Us is still number one. God, that's gotta make Drake feel horrible. And I love that.
It's doing back-to-back numbers, bro. It is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy that it's out here spinning like that. Kendrick just keeps spinning the block over and over and over again.
And this week's hit on the algorithm is...
Lithuania, Childish Gambino, from that new Bando Stone in the New World concept album to go along with the feature film, the short film that's dropping. Watch the trailer for it on stream, not on stream. Maybe
it's
on stream soon.
It's the art house version of the Vince Staples show.
I feel like that's very reductive.
If we have to put it into a look, if we have elevator pitches are always reductive.
No, it was more like Zombieland meets
Shaft?
No, nothing about Bando Stone gave Shaft energy. That's
Barbershop?
Crazy. This nigga said barbershop. Oh my god. What was the last black
Creed?
movie? Was that the last black movie you watched? And if you say Black Panther, I swear to God, we will cancel this podcast right now.
No. I think it was, no, You People doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count You People.
I can't remember because I haven't watched a movie in a while.
I just watched Beverly Hills Cop. That was really good. Now, All About the Benjamins doesn't feel right either, bro. But it's got like a very Childish Gambino feel to it. It is kind of like a post-apocalyptic joint or a apocalyptic joint where
You just used Childish Gambino to describe Childish Gambino.
A Childish Gambino feel to it. I mean, yeah, because it feels very, when you say like art house, like if you've the 3005 video, damn, what was the one where
it sounds like Atlanta looks.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the same kind of tone and feel that a lot of his productions have. They seem to be running from some kind of apocalyptic scenario, and he's playing like a almost what looks washed up celebrity who gets stuck with this mother-daughter, or was it mother-son duo who are, and now they're all trying to escape like an alien invasion kind of thing. It's a cool piece of like concept, like sci-fi apocalyptic thing, and exploring it with characters that we typically don't see. And I know that somebody is just waiting to shout DEI the second they hear black or see black people in fantasy, right? They're still bitching about Yasuke on the internet, and I guess they will be until the new Assassin's Creed drops. And
then 2 weeks after, and then everybody stops caring about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, again. Although Donald has kind of brought up the comparisons between him and Drake. Again, I think he is and has solidified himself as a very unique perspective in the hip-hop world at this point, right? Like, he has done quite a few of the same things that Drake has done, right? With the acting, the directing, the singing, the dancing, the rapping.
Yeah, and he's just done it better.
Which was his claim, right? And as this album, as well as Ada Vista.
Look, Community, way better than Degrassi.
There will be no Degrassi slander on the podcast, sir. I will not stand for that.
All right, I will give you this:
is that
Drake rolled so Donald could run.
I feel like shit. I mean, Donald could definitely write and act on Degrassi. I don't feel like Drake could write on Community. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not. And Degrassi would be a better show if Childish Gambino and or Donald Glover was associated with it.
Well, it's just Donald Glover from here on out because he is officially retiring the Childish Gambino moniker, right?
Personally, I've always thought having the moniker was kind of lame.
I appreciated it because it helped separate his music from
like Eminem and Slim Shady.
Well, more like Childish Gambino and Donald Glover, right? Like, it is like, this is me when I'm doing my rapping stuff, but like over here I do a whole different kind of I'm a whole different kind of avenue, so don't pigeonhole me as like a rapper act,
I feel like what he should do now is drop another comedy special.
I kind of like where he's going with the production of these different movie pieces that he's doing, dude. Like, once again,
I'm digging the whole, like, you never know what you're gonna expect next from Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, well, like,
Donald
if he dropped a new stand-up special, I wouldn't be shocked. But I'd be like, I didn't see him doing this next, but I'm gonna watch it.
I didn't see him doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? But that shit is still pretty fucking good, right? I didn't see him doing Lando Calrissian, right? But he
I did.
Also, I mean,
totally did.
When they announced it, I was like,
who else were they gonna get? Terrence Howard?
Yeah. Terrence Howard was like, duh, of course. Why not? If they got fucking.
And then J.J. Abrams was just like, absolutely not.
Terrence Howard was like, no, I could show you how they built the warp drive, right, that they traveled through space with.
I have the patent on it!
Just ask Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, fam, I'm never gonna let that go. Like,
neither will Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Like, Joe Biden dropping out is crazy and everything, but Neil deGrasse Tyson and Terrence Howard got into it on the internet, and I can't tell you like what kind of like shuffle of the deck or roll of the dice that we had to like that had to happen in sequence. I don't know what planets had to line up in order for like we all knew Kendrick and Drake was gonna happen at some point, right? Like they've been subbing each other for fucking a decade now, right? But who would have thought that the same year Neil deGrasse Tyson would have to sit Terrence Howard down and be like, son, you're wild. And I don't want to embarrass you in front of these people, but you know you wildin', and if you want me to, I'll just read your own paper out loud so they can all see how you're wildin'. I'm not gonna get Cat Williams to do it. I'm not gonna get Kendrick to release a diss track for you. I'm just gonna read your own paper out loud to you and everybody else. Like, LeVar Burton.
The more you know, Terrence.
Absolutely fucking wild. Can I get off now? I really want to get off this ride.
Can we bring back Harambe?
A crazy.
Like, seriously, I think it's at the point where if that goddamn gorilla didn't die.
It's either the gorilla or voting for Al Gore. I can't decide which one it was.
Probably Al Gore losing 2000, honestly.
I mean,
like, we're talking about, like, the trade was, like, going off the tracks, and then the point where it was, like, let's literally turn this thing into an off-road was probably Harambe.
I was gonna say, no, what it is when we voted for Bush instead of Al, when we got Bush instead of Al Gore, that's when the brakes broke, right? And we haven't been able to slow the train down since the break. Then we got Barack, right? And it was like, oh, okay, we might actually be able to, like, Barack got some kind of inertia there. He was able to kind of put some kind of friction to get everybody's hopes back up. And then Donald took control again. And now the train is off the fucking tracks. And Joe was trying his damnedest to steer it back onto the tracks, but he actually may have just steered us off of a bridge, right?
I think it's a good time to take a break. So if it couldn't get worse for Drake, somebody thought it would be a great idea, and for the record, was to make a Not Like Us video game.
When I first saw this shit, I thought it was just like a GIF, right? Because they already had the like GIF of Kendrick and like Sonic and them doing the fucking Not Like Us dance. But you're beating up the owl, the pinata owl.
Yeah, it's like an Angry Birds, or it's like a Flappy Bird type game where you try to tap the screen where Kendrick beats the shit out of these owls, and if you miss, then your streak ends. And the whole time it's just 8-bit, like the Not Like Us beat going.
I would really love it if every time you hit the owl, it went whop, right? So every time you tap the screen, it's just whop, whop.
I saw like a short clip of like, I think somebody even turned it into a side scroller.
Turning it into a side scroller is OD, because it's like, all right, guys, now I'm feeling like Steph Curry. I'm like, where are we going? Just a simple like mobile game where you're fucking up some owls. Yeah, I'm all here for that. But like, do not put some poor indie developer through the hell of developing a fucking Not Like Us. Maybe if it's like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, right? Where in the
I don't think it actually takes that long to program that type of game. In 2024.
Says the guy who's using ChatGPT to build his card game.
Shut up! I haven't even told you how it works yet. Asshat. It's fucking cool, man.
So
it's something that's been missing in the card game community for a long time, and it harkens back to the best card game that I've ever played, and that's the Yu Yu Hakusho card game, god damn it.
Is that how ChatGPT told you to sell
Fuck you! I'll talk about that card game off mic, because I literally don't want to bore you and the audience to death, because, I mean, explaining the rules to a game that doesn't even exist yet...
That you use ChatGPT to help
Fuck you!
I'm just saying.
It's a useful tool!
While you're shitting on developers. No, This is...
It's just making an outline!
I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time before we're seeing Not Like Us carnival prizes or Six Flags amusement park stuffed animal owls that you can beat the shit out of, and it's all going to some domestic violence shit.
Oh, how much do you think fucking owl pinatas are going off the chain right now?
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, Party City is probably fucking gay. Is Party City still a thing, or did we kill them?
Party City's gotta still be a thing. If not, I mean, Mark Cuban probably threw some amount of money at a pinata company on Shark Tank at some point.
Do you think millennials will get blamed for Joe Biden dropping out of the race?
Which one of the sharks do you think invested in that company?
The pinata company?
Yeah. I don't know if there actually has been one. I'm assuming there has been one. I've seen crazier shit.
Definitely, my man. Damn, why did I forget what the black dude's name is?
Desmond?
That's not who that is.
Oh no, it is Damon.
Yeah.
It is Damon.
Yeah.
You think Damon would have been? I think this is something Lori would invest in, and then Mark would want to get halvesies.
No, especially because it's hip hop. Damon is gonna jump all the way in. He's like, I actually have already partnered with Kendrick. We're going through PG Lang.
RDC World is filming the commercial.
Yeah. We've got a small company that we're working with straight out of Compton. You know,
we actually just gave Mark a whole bunch of new tech that he can work with.
It's actually a Latino family. They're a small greenhouse operation. They hand make their pinatas. Very bespoke.
God, this really can't get worse for Drake.
I mean, it could always... Like, I mean, Wagwan Delilah was a thing.
This has been 3 months of him getting brutalized.
I feel like you have not heard Wagwan Delilah.
No.
Oh, see, when you say...
Right now, I feel like you're doing that, like, the way you're saying that would be like me going to be like, what do you mean you haven't heard of Alter Bridge? Alright, fuck you again.
This isn't Drake yet.
You know how much I hate that Playboy Tees song?
You're gonna hate it even more after this. Let me find it. I'm trying to find the Drake part.
Your mademoiselle nights are geeked. I'm been low key. Walk on Delilah, double date me if you like me. Brought my Cronin for your bestie. Sorry, he's
Frozen.
wearing a shiesty, he's not bleed.
Frozen. You're in shock. So was everybody else when they heard it 1 month ago.
You know, that song...
With this joint,
there are 2 songs that bother the fuck out of me from that, like, 2007 to 2014 period. It's that song and Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. That is a terrible Jason Mraz song.
We're at the point where...
That is clearly the worst of his 2 songs.
We are at the point where I do and would not put it past Drake to drop a collab with Jason Mraz. Especially because his collab with Camila Cabello did not go as planned.
What would be the most...
No, fam. I need you to understand what Mans Kendrick did to your boy Drake.
Your Billy Butcher impression is awful.
Drake is so stuck right now that he's dropping troll tracks, right? He's dropping troll tracks because he doesn't know. He's first and foremost, we have to know that that was him testing the water, right? To see if people would even listen to a Drake feature. And then they went and dropped that, Camila Cabello collab, and that shit didn't even do the traffic that Wagwan Delilah did, right? Like, Drake doesn't know how to come back at this point, and that's where I think we're really like, we gotta wait to see if he's gonna drop out of the race like fucking Joe Biden.
Drake does have a way that he's trying to fight back, and that brings us to this week's soft move or boss move.
Moving on, it's time for soft move or boss move.
So, Doc, you're the one who actually sent me this story about Drake and how he's fucking with TDE's money.
So, the way you said it, like we're rapping we're working for like Deadspin. No, bro, like earlier this week it was trending. Schoolboy Q was set to do a couple performances out there in Toronto, but was immediately, how do we put this? Rejected upon entry. Drake has officially declared a no-fly zone for any TDE member, as if it wasn't already official when Rick Ross is getting punched in his mouth for playing Not Like Us by Hell's Angels rejects looking for fucking
Was
clout.
it the third or fourth time that they played it? Because apparently that song's getting at least played 3 times. Anytime anybody from TDE or associated.
Schoolboy Q did not get to play any of his set, none of his new music. If you haven't heard Blue Lips yet, go ahead and check that album out, because it is fire. Schoolboy Q was also seen or read recently giving Kendrick and TDE credit for helping him develop as a rapper. Right, but this rapper did not, however, get to perform at what I think was supposed to be a venue that Drake may co-own as well. So it was obvious. It was kind of obvious that this was gonna happen. I don't know. I call it a boss move, right? Because obviously,
you need to mention the following Instagram post.
Obviously, if you niggas think you was coming to my city and getting money running a fucking song that is dragging my name through the dirt, you've got me fucked up. No, you're not coming to my club and performing that trash-ass music. Get that out of here.
But the Instagram post...
So Drake, I don't know if this was before or after Schoolboy Q got his show shut down, but Drake has been posting his sassy selfies again, and this time in blue loafers, right? Which are, like, I mean, if you know who Schoolboy Q is, then you know why that might be significant, right? Like, we all know
Drake's trying to show that he's part of the culture.
Is Queen Petty, or at least he wanted to be Queen Petty until Kendrick popped out and reminded him who the biggest hater was. The Sixth God has officially declared Toronto a no-fly zone for anybody blasting that fucking West Coast bullshit.
I guess that means LeBron can't play against the Raptors.
And
'cause run that shit back.
They probably won't be playing Bando Stone and or whatever.
You know, Team USA, they had in the arena blasting Not Like Us after they beat Canada in the scrimmage, right?
I saw, fam. It's crazy.
Like when Drake and Pusha T went at it, this beef felt like it stayed on Twitter.
Yeah,
it stayed on the internet.
This is it was.
This feels like it's
global.
More than that. Yeah.
Kendrick had the highest grossing hip hop tour with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? Like, it was a record-setting hip hop tour, if I remember correctly. He is a Pulitzer Prize winner, soon to be poet laureate, I'm sure, after he's done this.
How mad would Drake be if he gets poet laureate for fucking Not Like Us? It's not gonna happen, but how Like, how much of a Sun moment would that be?
I think it would be even.
I feel like that would be an all-time Sun moment.
I think it would be even more of a Sun moment if Kendrick comes, because Kendrick is slated to be dropping new music soon. And I think if this next album is the album that gets him Poet Laureate on top of damn getting him the Pulitzer Prize, it is literally like, no, sit down, be humble when you're talking to me.
You'd be like, he could literally be like, I have the resume to back up my statement. I have done as much for the English language as Shakespeare.
Like, literally, the whole
like, that
argument,
becomes a legitimate argument.
the whole argument right now is that Drake has the numbers, right? Like, everybody is pulling up his Spotify streams and stuff like that. They're talking his Billboard charts. I mean, not to mention that Good Kid, Mad City literally just dropped out of, like, what, the top 32 for the first time since it's dropped. Like, Good Kid, Mad City has been in the top 30
Albums
on the Billboard charts since it dropped. But Drake does have more hits than Michael Jackson, right? So you can...
But Michael Jackson is not a rapper. He never claimed to be.
I mean, it's not even...
Drake, you can't back away from trying to say that you were. As much as you want, you can say you have more hits than Michael,
Fuck that.
but
We're
just
not-
realize
we're not
Michael
even
never
talking
even
about-
tried to be a rapper.
We're not even talking about what Drake is talking about. We're talking about what the fans... We're talking about what the culture is talking about. And when the two sides of the culture are arguing, Drake versus Kendrick, it's Pulitzer Prize winner, numbers on the board, right? Like, we cannot ignore the fact that Drake puts numbers on the board, right? We can talk about payola, we can talk about ghostwriters, we can talk about padding streams with bots, right? Like,
All right, I'm a praise and shit on my own team at the same time right now. Drake is Jason Tatum, and Kendrick is Jaylen Brown.
that's wild.
Fill up the stat sheet, Jason. Jalen's gonna close it out for us.
I will be interested to see what Kendrick's next album will be like, especially because here he has kind of set himself up with a high mark, because he does, the next shit has to make us forget how much of a banger Not Like Us
I do
is.
just want to throw out, Jason Tatum is not a pedophile.
Oh man, Kendrick really has people call. There's a whole generation.
He's a much better dad, actually, than Drake.
There's a whole generation of kids that will know Drake for being a supposed pedophile, and that, I think...
And a 69 god.
I think that is the crown jewel to come out of this entire beef. It's absolutely amazing.
No, seriously, as far as, like, if he got a poet laureate for Not Like Us, I feel like as far as, like, Sun moments go, that's, like... That's gotta be up there with, like... That's gotta be up there with, like, David and Goliath, right?
No.
Like, he's just, like, Sun.
No, that would be the Stormy Daniels case for me, right? Like, that would be my moment as an independent voter where I was like, man, I feel like they just try and ham it in on a homie, right?
They just had to get an on-court document that Trump has a toad dick.
That's what I'm saying. They just try
They need it for public record.
They gave this man a fucking Poet Laureate award for a diss track. What's poetic about that? He just said Not Like Us a bunch of times. It's like, nah.
You lie!
It is crazy. The video game is wild. It just keeps continuing to be, as academics would put it, the moment that Kendrick is so good at creating, right? Because remember when all this started, academics said Kendrick is good at making moments. He's not good at being a diss rapper, right? Well, you lied.
But I feel like having, like, if Kendrick was always around, it wouldn't feel as special, I don't think. Because I don't know if he was always around, he'd be able to put as much effort, soul, introspection, and, like, articulate construction to all of his work.
That's the dichotomy that we're looking at here, right? Where it's like, Drake is somebody who is constantly in the studio, constantly trying to remain ahead of the curve, trying to be at the edge of innovation when it comes to the cultural climate, and trying to, you know, really keep his name out there and put numbers on the board.
Great,
right?
so I'll always have new Drake to listen to, but I will never re-listen to his shit because he always has new shit. I'll re-listen to a Kendrick album because a Kendrick album is memorable.
I think that's also cap. Like, I'm calling cap, bro, because if One Dance comes on, you're gonna slide to that shit. Do not sit up here and tell no fucking lies like you're not gonna play a couple of Drake tracks. Started from the bottom, whether Rick Ross wrote it or not, is a banger, right? Like, it's not about...
I know way too many people here right now that I didn't know last year. Who the fuck are y'all?
I mean...
That's what Kendrick was saying, Drake!
Listen, there's a whole generation of kids that will also, you know, have YOLO played at their cookouts, and they're fine with that, right? Like, that's the motto for them. So, let's not pretend like just because...
Man, Drake used to have the motto.
Drake used to have the juice, and I mean, Kendrick really, like, snatched that shit. Like, the pinky ring off the finger, bro. He said, give us that shit back and I might let you live. And right now, he's cooking. He's bleeding that boy for everything he got. Kenny said, can I bleed him yet? And he didn't even put all the tracks out.
He said, bet.
This man really said, I got 10 of these shits ready to go. That's 10.
You can't tell me that RDC World didn't know what was going on beforehand.
You can't, I mean...
That RDC World video was so on point. And they were backstage with Kendrick is in with RDC World for that shit.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if they linked up at some parties or something like that and
had this radio ready. Look, film this video, you saying these 10 different things about Drake coming back at me, edit the right one in and drop it within 5 minutes.
It ain't looking good for you, boy. He ain't even dropped all summer, right? And they was talking about Drake was ready to take over the summer. He even posted on his Instagram, you know, the
certified summer boy in my ass.
The lone samurai standing off against the fucking
well, that would be Lupe Fiasco right now, who for some reason, I mean, I guess Lupe is just really mad that Kendrick got bigger with the same aesthetic style that... There was a whole conversation on Twitter earlier about, like, Lupe versus Kendrick, and they would, like, somebody said, like, my favorite response was like, the only reason Lupe would lose was because he would rap from the perspective of a tidal wave crashing over Compton. Like,
that is some shit Lupe would do. That would be like one of the nerdiest rap battles ever. I need you to know that. Like, because like the Midwest has its own Chicago. I mean, Cameron.
Lupe is definitely a bigger nerd than Kendrick.
Cameron, I don't know, bro. If you were listening to the
Lupe puts more nerd references in his rap for sure.
Just because he puts the nerd references in there doesn't mean. I mean, this nigga Kendrick is a fucking Pulitzer Prize winner, bro. That's a pretty big nerd, right? Like Kendrick, Lupe is like kung fu movie comic book nerd, right? Like, I'm not to say that he's not
and Street Fighter. He's like an Evo level Street Fighter
not
player.
To say that Lupe is not educated, but Kendrick is literally like in the halls of dark academia. Like, do you not know?
Lupe teaches at MIT. What you mean? That's as academic as you can get.
I don't know if it's more academic than a Pulitzer Prize.
One is given to a media member. Talk to me when Kendrick gets his inevitable Nobel Prize.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick ended up fucking teaching a class at like Cambridge or some shit like that. Or not Cambridge, what's that art college over there on the...
Juilliard?
Is it Juilliard?
Juilliard's in New York.
No. Why you been staying in New York, Kendrick? Is that why Kendrick been staying in New York? Because he was teaching at Juilliard?
Nah. He's gonna take the biggest bag at Full Sail.
Wow, with the Full Sail reference. Did you see the?
I'm not shitting on Full Sail. My brother actually graduated from Full Sail.
No, fuck Full Sail, bro. Shit on that college. Absolutely. I'm sure your brother would say the same thing, right? Like, it's good for connections, but no, Full Sail is one of those pay for for-profit college kind of.
But they had Dan Patrick for their sports division.
Kind of like, dude, what was that fucking, sent that shit. I think I sent this shit to you. The dude from that commercial, like, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting on the couch there when you could be going to college? Never went to that college.
Yeah, he never went to college and it was filmed in a parking lot.
You know, and it was filmed in a parking lot and they used the headlights from the car as backlighting, bro. He was like, it was the most janky thing I had ever done in my life. I thought I was gonna die. He didn't say the last part, but that is pretty janky. And now that I'm looking at it, when I go back and watch the commercial, I'm like, oh, those totally are fucking car headlights in the background, bro.
It's clever though, because ring lights weren't readily available.
No, and not even just that. If you crop this shit right, and then you just do little fucking studio magic, it looked fine. It looked fine for a fucking weird local commercial.
For 2003?
Where everything still looked like it was filmed on a Vaseline potato. Like, god damn.
God, I used to think TV at a certain point I was like, hasn't TV resolution been like the same for the past 20 years? And then I looked at LeBron James rookie highlights and I'm like, oh, it has gotten a lot better in the last 10.
No, fam, nothing will fuck you up more than going back and watching what I like to refer to as substitute teacher movies. Which is, you know, the movies that used to get played when the substitute teacher would come in, like, fucking, what is the, Man of Steel or Shazam, like, any movie starring Shaq, right? And you go back and you watch the special effects in them shits, bro, and it's, like, got that weird 90s glow to it.
I think one of the most things that fucks me up when it comes to watching old movies is women's makeup in 1980s movies. Where it really looks like they got hit by that shotgun that Elmer created, the makeup shotgun.
The makeup shotgun, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
You can't tell me, like, it's impossible to not see.
I thought it was pretty cool how they did Beverly Hills Cop without using a whole lot of 80s tropes, but they still made a movie that felt very 80s action film. Right?
In 2024.
Yeah. And they even did, like, some, you know, kind of tongue-in-cheek meta references to things that could have lent themselves to being those typical, like, 80s action movie. I'm not gonna spoil it, right? But, like, when you watch the movie, you'll see. I definitely recommend watching it.
So, since we're still on the, like, media topic and everything, apparently there were recreations of the Trump shooting in Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox?
Minecraft is probably the craziest one, but
Fortnite, it was a matter of time.
yeah,
And the thing is like, my favorite tweet in response to this was like, that guy's a terrible assassin, but would make a great stormtrooper.
Wow. Here's my reminder that the stormtroopers were actually given orders to not kill Luke and Leia in them, which is why they just wasted tons of munitions for no reason.
Oh, was that like a subversive subconscious thing implanted in them during the cloning?
No, I think he actually says, like, bring them back alive at some point, right? Like,
Darth Vader's also super wicked powerful, so he probably could have actually implanted a permanent force imprint on their brain to do that.
I'm also just pretty sure he says bring them back alive. You know.
Yeah, with his force. Like, the Darth Vader is insane OP.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think, like, not with, like, his voice. Like, he says it in the movie, like, bring them back alive. They don't.
I'm pretty sure Darth Vader's voice can, like, echo the force kind of the same way, like, the person from Dune can. Because that's the way Obi-Wan does the Jedi mind trick. No, but seriously, like, come on, like, Darth Vader can definitely do that type of thing. Because, like, that's how the Jedi mind control works.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not just following orders, like, they're actually brainwashed and manipulated by the Force.
All the stormtroopers?
Yeah. if he issued that order,
Then how do you explain Finn?
Finn,
Yeah.
he's not a clone. You gotta remember, all the stormtroopers used to be clone troopers.
Used to be. Well, was that after or before the? I guess the Force Awakens and all that stuff is after.
Yeah, and then that Force Awakens takes place like 20 years later, to that point where the Empire has to actually recruit people to be stormtroopers. Because there were no women as stormtroopers during the original movies.
Because they were all clones.
Because they were all clones of Jango Fett. Zach might be screaming right now because he's a huge Star Wars fan.
I mean, I all of this to just be like, yeah, he used the Force to tell them not to. I mean, he still told them not to shoot though.
Yeah.
Or not to shoot, but to not kill them. Right. They weren't just bad shots. Was my entire point to begin with.
I love the internet paradox of
That's what we were talking about. We were talking about the Trump assassination.
yeah, and all of it being put in different video games.
I mean,
It's like the parallel opposite of them doing the 2020 Black Lives Matter march or the recreation of the Million Man March in Fortnite.
yeah.
Total opposite of that.
Yeah. I mean,
And remember, we covered that because they knew this was coming and they disabled all the potentially offensive emojis
Yep.
except for the whip.
because I was gonna say because Fortnite knows what they're doing, but they definitely knew what they were doing when they did that. Shout out to Red Dead Redemption. I think it's Red Dead Redemption 2 that has like a little secret interaction where you can stumble upon the clan in the middle of the woods.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, like Jeff said last week, he thinks that Red Dead Redemption 2 might be like just the greatest video game.
I mean, I thought about getting into it. I'm actually playing a game called Dead Cell right now.
Oh, did you finish Ghost of Tsushima?
No, this is my little break, like my little breath of fresh air from Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, I'm still wrapping up Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know. I'm probably like 65% of the way done that game. I would think it's probably.
I mean, I was watching you play that the other day, and the game looks cool.
Oh, I love that game, especially when you're playing it on like a good like GDR TV or.
Yeah, and I mean, from what it looks like, it's something I could totally relate to because it's very similar to the way Tears of a Kingdom approaches exploring the landscape and stuff.
The thing I relate to the most about Ghost of Tsushima, or in Ghost of Tsushima, is like one of the ways Jin gains like his health bar increases, like, or I guess the way you get his health bar to increase is by finding hot springs throughout the map that he like takes rest in.
Yeah!
So like you gain health, not like regain health, but you gain more health by taking hot baths in the game. And
You recover health in the hot springs in Zelda.
yeah. I'm like this. I'm like, oh, this nigga takes hot baths. And like he's like me. It's literally I'm him.
It's actually a really funny thing I found out about Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Apparently, shrines are placed relative to like subway and bus stops in Kyoto.
Oh, that is a little interesting Easter egg. I also recently, when I'm looking for something to kind of wind down from the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, I found this game Dead Cells that I've been playing. It came out in 2018, so it's nothing new, but it's a roguelike Metrovania game.
The best.
It's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam and an 89% on Metacritic. So it is like, it's not like a...
What systems is it on?
It's on, so it recently popped up on PS Plus, right? So it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox.
It's gotta be on PlayStation
Steam.
4 then.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's your ever-changing castle system, right? You get to pick up different little perks and weapons throughout that you can play, so the gameplay is always different every time you play it, which is a mechanic that I really like, especially for these kind of like more simple games, which I've been feeling more drawn to recently. Like, I don't know if you've played Animal Well. Animal Well is kind of like a dungeon platformer too.
I mean, you said a simple game with like a lot of complexity, but still simple. I immediately thought of Mega Man X.
Yeah.
Mega Man X,
Yep,
really
that-
simple.
yeah, that kind
Run
of
to the
falls
right,
into that
jump
mold.
over stuff, charge your blaster.
So Animal Well is another Metroidvania kind of game, right? Developed by Shared Memory Studios, and it's available on PS5, Nintendo Switch, and all that. It's like the gameplay and the art design is really like cool and retro. It's like got this dark.
Honestly,
retro
it
feel
reminds.
to
You know what
it.
it makes me think of? Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah. I
Has
can't
that been
even
made a
really-
movie? I feel like that's been made a movie.
Oh yes, definitely. I can't really explain
Was it
Animal
good?
Well. Yes, it was real art housey.
That sounds like something that Guillermo del Toro would do.
So, in Animal Well, you explore a dense, interconnected labyrinth and unravel many secrets throughout the game, collecting different items to manipulate your environment in surprising and meaningful ways, encounter beautiful and unsettling creatures as you attempt to survive what lurks in the darkness. There is more than what you see. And that's just that's the Steam synopsis of the game. But I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something that isn't like a big AAA title. Then Animal Well is really good. Dead Cell is really great.
I have been playing a big AAA title recently.
I mean, they're always good. That's what they're.
I mean,
they're
mine's
for.
old though. However, this might be like the 7th version of it.
I mean, Dead Cell was from 2018, so that's not old. But
Persona 5 is almost a decade old. I'm playing Persona 5 Royale. As I've already told everybody, like this. So actually, when I reloaded it, like after playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and I had to like reload it from like the beginning, there's a seizure warning before anything else pops up. Just like I said, somebody with epilepsy, probably not the game for them.
But with that being said,
so I've been having a lot of fun with it. Like it's a classic
fun.
like JRPG with a lot of elements from a whole bunch of different games. I'm playing it on hard mode. It's an appropriate level of difficulty, and then I get to this boss.
you get to this boss.
He is a evil CEO that abuses his workers.
So he's American.
He's he's Japanese.
I mean, look.
His last name is Okamura.
The work climate over in Japan is not much better than the work climate over here in America.
Arguably worse.
Let's just be real.
JRPG. Team of 4. Turn-based actions, right?
Right.
Alright. Normally, you fight a boss, it's one guy. You can attack the boss, right?
Right.
Right.
All 5 of you. Dogpiling.
4 of us, right?
4 of you.
Right.
4 of you.
So,
All 4 of you.
boss fight starts, and he's like, I'm a CEO. I have manpower. Other
yeah, he
people
does.
do my work for me.
Yeah.
And then 4 robots come out.
He is a CEO.
4 robots come out and they start fighting, and you beat the robots, and he's like, I have more people. So then he brings out 4 other marginally tougher robots, right?
Right.
And you beat those, and then he brings out 4 even marginally better robots. But now they have the ability to start self-destructing and running away. So you have to beat all 4 of these robots. You have to kill them all at the same time, but one of them is going to go on a kamikaze mission, and after like a turn, literally run in and blow up your team. And if Joker, your main character, dies at all, you have to restart the battle.
Game over.
Right?
Yep.
So we're on the 3rd wave, right? And then there's another wave. Oh, I haven't even gotten to the most annoying part, right? So you're chipping these things down, right?
Yep.
And you're almost there.
Mowing the block.
But then they decide to run away, and then Okamura spawns the same wave of people over again, and you start all over again.
So,
And then after that wave, there's another wave.
that is...
And then hold on, and then there's another wave of even tougher people.
Damn.
By the way, every single one of these units has different weaknesses. You have to like change your party characters all the time.
Hey, I mean...
And then
that's
after
what
that,
for
you have to fight another big robot. And then after that, you have to fight the robot
if you can't
cognitive
handle
version of his daughter. And then after that,
If you
you get to fight him.
handle
And by the way, you have to do all of this within 30 minutes.
Listen, if you can't handle it, Go get a waifu simulator. You didn't come.
I was so
to
fucking
play
mad.
Persona 5.
Here's the thing. I
For
was
nothing,
like,
right?
for a minute, I was tempted to like, maybe I just dropped the difficulty a little, and then I said, you know what? There's got to be a way around this. There's got to be a way around this. And then I realized that I'm not playing Persona 5. I'm playing Persona 5 Royale.
Is there some kind of cheat in there that you?
Yeah, all of the Persona 5 DLC is preloaded.
Oh,
So I went in there and I was like, I want this busted Persona, and this busted Persona, and this busted Persona, and this busted Persona.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fuck this boss up, and then we're gonna disenchant all of them to go back to normal.
Yep.
Because fuck this boss in particular.
Yeah. Fuck you in particular.
It's like literally like, I'm playing this for the challenge, but this is bullshit.
Yeah. No, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima for the story. It just also happens to be a fairly challenging game. It's not a super challenge. It's not like, boss wave after boss wave after boss wave challenging. If you played Batman Arkham Asylum, then you'd have fun playing Ghost of Tsushima. Right? The game.
If they enjoyed God of War.
Yeah, or it's more like the Batman run of action adventure games, but as cinematic as that could be taken to.
Well, combat difficulty.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the combat difficulty is more close to like a Ninja Gaiden, Batman Arkham kind of setup.
But yeah, like
God of War.
But as far as like the other experience
There's
of
a lot
Persona,
of,
for
like,
starters, fuck that boss. Fuck you,
stealth
Okamura.
elements.
Fuck you, Okamura. But it's also wild. It's like, oh yeah, new day. I gotta meet up with the Phantom Thieves, and then I have to do laundry.
No, that's
Because they always find a way. It's like you collect all of this like random drops from enemy is like sooty elder armor or sooty Komodo, and the only way you can figure out if it's actually good armor or not is by washing it at the laundromat.
Bro, that's Fallout for me. That's like there was this time where I got stuck in this fucking death loop in Fallout where I was surrounded on all sides by enemies, so I couldn't fast travel out of there. And I think I was also over capacity at one point, so like I couldn't run and I had to like drop a whole bunch of stuff before in like a certain amount of time, because then either a fucking super mutant or a raider would like fucking hawk down on my ass, and I was low on health, I had no stim packs, and I just kept dying over and over and over again and respawning in the same spot, and I couldn't fast travel out of that bitch. You can't fast travel when there are enemies nearby. It was just like, I was like, bro, I'm not gonna play. I still haven't played God of War for a while because I'm stuck at this part where you have to fight one of these hard ass fucking Valkyries, bro, and I'm like,
Are you on the DLC then?
Maybe. No, I don't think so. It's just a point in the game where you and Freya are traveling back from.
So Freya doesn't hate you anymore.
No, and I think
I can't really talk like, I know everything. I literally watch the games as movies on YouTube.
Yeah, no, Freya.
I'm a huge fan of the series as far as the cinematic and storytelling perspective. I got shit on combat.
I think it's the part where we just got Freya's like sword back or whatever, and she like talks about her divorce from
Odin
and all of that.
Oh,
shit.
so then the sword is like just chilling with Atreus?
Yeah.
Because Atreus gets to use that sword until... No, never mind. He gets that sword when he goes to Odin.
Yeah. So that I think. No, and I'm past the part where Atreus is with Odin. Atreus is with Odin currently, and we're on our way back, but I have to fight this stupid fucking Valkyrie to get through to the rest of the goddamn game. And it's just so fucking hard. And I don't want to turn the difficulty down.
It's the most...
It's kind of like peeing sitting down. It's like, what's stopping you? from peeing sitting down when nobody is looking. It's like, yeah, in the bathroom, that's weird.
But you're gonna remember it.
You're gonna remember
You're gonna remember it, and it's
know.
going to taint it for
Every
you.
time.
You will never speak about it out loud, but you will always be like,
know.
yeah, I beat God of War on hard, except for that one boss fight.
I miss it when games would automatically adjust the difficulty level if you died to a boss too many
Like,
times.
the thing is, I'm not playing Persona 5 on hard for the intent of, like, bragging about beating this game. I started on normal, but normal was just actually too easy for me. So I was like, for me to even have, like, a remotely challenging, rewarding experience, I have to crank this up to at least hard.
He's a real sportsman. No.
If I'm gonna win, I gotta make it look sexy. I gotta go hard on a bitch, I'm gonna make it look sexy.
It is something else.
Hold up, wait up, 8-year reference.
It's a great
Gonna
game.
take me out my element.
It's a great game. What else do we have to talk about?
So I did want to mention that, yeah, Team USA almost lost to a country that is less than 15 years old.
What country?
South Sudan.
What? We almost lost to South Sudan. Hey, I feel like that's because everybody on that team is probably like 6'8" and up.
They don't have any indoor courts in their country.
Of course, so they did not come to fuck around. They did not come to play games, sir. No, they came for a fucking meal ticket.
They had like
Everybody-
a 12-point lead on the US at halftime.
This is some Mighty Duck shit, right? Like, and Team USA is the bad guy in this story. We're not even like in the actual Olympic shit. This is still like Olympic qualifiers, like bullshit.
Not even. This is like, and then LeBron's second half was like, you're not beating me on international television.
Does that not sound like a Mighty Ducks villain to you?
He went Cobra Kai, and of course, LeBron does game-winning drive. He goes to his left,
Yeah.
puts the defender on his right shoulder, pushes him behind him so LeBron can get the wedge going towards
Yeah.
the basket, sliding him out for an easy left-handed layup in. And then the defends to knock them out, and US wins by 1.
Man, come on. Let's be real.
They're 101 to 100.
You know why? Because the niggas from South Sudan are coming to play to get drafted into the NBA. Team USA is already, they're already all millionaires. Everybody on that team is already a millionaire. These guys from South Sudan, I'm sure, are probably doing well, right? Like, I'm not gonna hit you with that third world stereotype.
Well,
where I'm they're all
like,
from mud
the
huts
one
and shit.
player during
No.
the interview was like, look, I mean, we're a country full of, like, refugees. We don't have an indoor court in our entire country.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and like he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna keep it funky."
I sent
with
you that picture, and I was like, dude, that first picture, that guy literally looked grayscale.
He was. That's fucked. That's so fucked for your pink Irish ass. Like, bro,
Turn the saturation up for us, and so do we.
fam. No, I feel like them niggas from South Sudan was like, "Hey, yo, bro, I'm trying to take that food off your plate, guys. Like, you're not gonna come in here and then you gotta. It's like Denzel and he got game, right? Like,
Well,
I'm
we
not just
already
gonna let
should
Ray
know-
Allen score buckets.
We should
on me,
already
Spike
know that
Lee.
South Sudan was not fucking around because they qualified for the Olympics. To even be a team in the Olympics, you have to go through qualifiers to get there. There's only 12 countries in the Olympics for basketball. I can't name them all, but I know it's like France, US, Canada, Serbia, Greece, South Sudan, Japan.
Mexico?
I don't think so.
No. Are there any
The
prominent
US
Mexican players in the league?
Actually Mexican? Not that I can think of. There are a few players with Latino names.
I was gonna say, and they either play in California, New York, or Florida, right? Or Texas, right?
Like, Miami has a player named Jaime Jaquez.
Wow. Moving on.
So I guess while we'll stay on sports, and so Skip Bayless is quote unquote retiring, and what I think everybody means is Undisputed is doing absolute dog shit since Shannon left.
It is running. I mean, this man has had fucking Meg Thee Stallion, Cat Williams, Kevin Hart. Like, who hasn't he had? He's like the Oprah of sports entertainment right now.
Just entertainment at this point, I think.
Well, it's getting there. He's not quite Sean Evans yet, but he's almost.
He's getting pretty ubiquitous.
He's getting pretty hot ones territory, right? Like, we both have said that Sean, if it wasn't for the Academy gatekeeping,
I will say, how about this?
Won an Academy
How about this?
Award by
The
now.
way Snoop Dogg just finds himself in the spotlight, Shannon puts himself in the spotlight.
I don't know if I would say Shannon puts himself in the spotlight, but Shannon
He goes live on YouTube with Ocho Cinco every weeknight.
has done a good job at marketing himself as a barometer of culture, right? Like, having people like Cat Williams on his couch, like Meg Thee Stallion on his couch, right? Like, he has really placed himself...
He definitely has some like filler guests. Like
filler guest to you, but that is because you
he
are
had
a guest
the
that
guy
can
who
look
played Huel from Breaking Bad on Club Shay Shay, and I was like,
That is a filler guest.
all right, you got the guy who played Huel from Breaking Bad.
That is, somebody asked for it though. It's like, it probably was more like they were out at some event, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll come on your podcast."
Huel's most memorable moments are laying on a pile of money and putting a battery in somebody's jacket.
I mean, he's had Monique on there.
But yeah, like Monique was followed by the guy who played Huel. So Shannon's got his off months.
He had somebody else wild on that couch, and I was like, "Damn, man."
But I mean, like, he's got Meg Thee Stallion on his upcoming episode, I think.
I've said it twice now, but
I'm waiting for Shannon Sharp to be like, so I've heard that you're into, Japanese anime.
whatchamacallit, he had Megan Good on just recently. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
Ooh, Jonathan Majors tea.
he had Dana White on, right? Like,
He owes. Cat Williams should get royalties from everything for Club Shay Shay.
Ray J.
Oh, the Ray J one's wild. Remember where he's like, if we never filmed that sex tape, like, OnlyFans might not be a thing. The world would be a better place.
Vince Staples said everything that has happened in cultural, like, major cultural events just recently. I wonder, like, what hand Ray J has in the Kendrick Lamar Drake beat. I'm sure he's West Coast, so he's probably riding for Kendrick, right?
But anyway, Skip Bayless was the progenitor of
long
the debate show.
Before we get Skip Bayless on Club Shay Shay.
Ooh, that's a good question, because I know there was a lot of people, like, asking about, like, what if you bring Skip on with Shannon and Steven? And Steven went on his own show, and the caption for the video, I didn't even listen to it, but it was Skip Bayless to ESPN ? Respectfully, no.
No, I feel like Shannon would definitely have him on the Club Shay Shay couch just to ask him, like, yeah, so how does it feel being retired, Skip? Like, what are you gonna do?
Nah, he wouldn't.
It'll be a reconciliation episode.
Nah, Skip Bayless is gonna go on something wild. Like, he's gonna go on the Marcellus Wiley show.
Wow, you got that one. I wouldn't know how Skip would move. I thought you were gonna say he would come on wearing a do-rag, smoking a black and mild, and sipping cognac.
Steven and Shannon, as much as they, I owe my career as it is right now to Skip Bayless, they don't like Skip.
Yeah.
Like, while they are right, they owe a lot to Skip. You think they fuck with Skip now?
I feel like that's kind of why both of them slid in the direction that they did, right? At least Shannon.
Well, Steven pushed Skip out. Or no, Skip left.
Yeah.
Skip decided to leave.
Yeah, probably
Because he got that bag.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, but also... Actually,
It was the
it's
bag.
probably-
It was the bag.
I mean, but I'm sure working with Steven was probably like, yeah...
Working with Stephen A. Smith on the Daily has got to be grating. Unless you're Mac Kellerman and get joy from just, like, drinking
Dunking on him.
his tears, like...
Yeah, all the time.
God, I miss Max Kellerman. I miss him doing content of some
It
kind.
would be like if Jon Stewart and Bill O'Reilly had to host a show together.
Jon Stewart and Bill O'Reilly actually were on the Daily. Bill O'Reilly was the guest on the Daily Show and on Jon Stewart's The Podcast, The Weekly Show. And I have to say, I really like John and Bill O'Reilly together. It's wildly entertaining, and like it's not crackpot crazy, like yelling over each other. It's just like one of them like says something and the other starts cackling, laughing.
Bro, I saw a clip from when Obama and McCain were running against each other, and this lady in the audience started like trying to do like crackpot theories about Barack Obama, and John McCain was like, well, hold on, actually he's a good man and he's a family man, and both Barack Obama and John McCain had said nice things about each other. And when Joe Biden said he was stepping down from his candidacy as president, Donald immediately, I know I said this earlier, bro, but it's just so funny to me. Donald was like, yeah, you crooked bitch, you better walk that crooked ass walk back to bed and get your applesauce.
Well, I
on,
mean,
nigga.
Trump broke the tradition of leaving a letter for the incoming president.
Oh yeah, because he was mad. He was butthurt, and he still got to pretend like
He didn't
knows
attend the inauguration. He flew off to fucking Frank Sinatra's My Way.
He's
Or
got.
was it YMCA? I can't remember. He walked onto one and left to the other.
All I know is I can't wait to see more of that weird jerk off dance that he does. That is probably my favorite thing about Donald. Is that
He dances the way Barkley eats churros.
Do him and Charles know that they have that in common? Somebody might want to tell Charles Barkley
God bless Charles.
that he eats churros the way Donald Trump dances.
I hope somebody is... Can we just, like, further lament the fact that... we haven't actually said this, but for people who don't know, the NBA new media rights deal is for $75 billion. And TNT is losing the rights after next year, which means that Inside is officially going to end. So, once again, NBC, specifically, not ESPN, they're too tight-ass, NBC, throw the bag at all of them. And I don't mean just Chuck, Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq. I mean, throw it to Underdog, throw it to the cameraman, throw it to all of the people. But make sure, like, you better have Underdog there.
Bro, something weird is happening in the sports
The ESPNCU?
the sports media landscape.
The ESPNCU.
So much so that aren't they talking about bringing on a WNBA centered show, right? One that is like solely focused on the WNBA.
Well, I mean, like, that's the thing is I think maybe they should rebrand it as like a professional basketball thing, because the WNBA plays during the NBA offseason.
So it could still just be a basketball thing, is what you're saying. They don't have to gender brand, because it's not getting
Professional basketball. I mean, like, it would be a weird way to like come up with a title, because you know, like NBA and like everything would be like that. But like they could just cover both.
Yeah, and I mean, I get what you're saying. Is like there's no reason for them to have to specifically brand it as WNBA centered coverage.
Like ESPN Basketball Tonight.
Yeah, I do think that it is overdue, and it's kind of weird that it's not already, especially with the way that you're describing it, right? Is like it's already pretty easy for them to do it and it not get in the way of NBA coverage.
Jaylen Brown and Angel Reese were at the Lakers Summer League game together.
Yeah. So,
like, there is a lot of crossover already. You know, the last year's NBA All-Star break, Sabrina Ionescu versus Steph in the shooting contest.
which is wild that it's not, the WNBA is not being covered the more, you know.
It's getting a fuck ton more attention than it was, though.
Yeah.
If you asked me 3 years ago who Asia Wilson was, I would not have been able to tell you.
But now that they have taken on that WWE blueprint with the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese narrative.
Well, they are the WNBA's Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
I mean,
The comparisons are like crazy similar.
I mean, wasn't it Magic that said that himself, right? Larry hasn't come out to share his sympathies, whether or not...
Larry doesn't talk. Do you know what the worst part about Larry Bird's career is? When he hurt his back? Do you know how he hurt his back?
I'm talking...
Putting asphalt on his driveway.
It'd be like that.
In the off season.
It'd be like that, dog.
Do you know what he did to put himself in the shape to win 3 straight MVPs? Stop drinking beer. That's all Larry had to do.
I get that too. I've been there. I'm about there now. Again, it's about to be a dry couple of months here for me. Got to shave off some pounds. The dirty bulking has officially achieved its desired goal. I think the WNBA has achieved its desired goal too. It did a little bit of dirty bulking by taking on a play from the WWE handbook, and the racist may have gotten out of hand with the narrative like they always. But I mean, that's how a good kayfabe works, right? It's got to be believable, so much so that, you know, you get some diehard fans out there. As long as it doesn't lead to shooters on the roof, though, I think we're good.
Also, Microsoft crashed all of the internet and Disney got hacked.
The Disney hack is wild because they said it was like over.
There's probably like completed movies in there.
They said it was pictures of people's. They got so much information. They got pictures of like people's dogs that like were being shared on like Slack chat and shit like that.
And all of this was enabled because somebody downloaded a fucking program, like a plugin for a game.
Yeah, like a DLC for a fucking mobile game, bro. Stop downloading weird apps on your phones, dog. Stop downloading weird shit on.
I can only imagine, like, this guy destroyed Disney by, like, downloading LOL King. Like...
Stop downloading weird shit on company computers. Stop watching porn on office computers, and stop downloading.
Your phone has a mobile hotspot option.
Stop it. What is wrong with people, bro? The Windows thing is just, it's a terrible, terrible example of bad coding. All it takes is one line, a little syntax error, a space somewhere it's not supposed to go, and apparently you can ruin lots of people's vacation.
Including the Las Vegas Dome.
I really hope that was just them trolling, because the way
it was a Banksy art piece.
The way they've been using the Dome for just memery is pretty great.
In a month of One Piece! The month of One Piece was cool.
They've also been doing like a weird emoji thing. I mean, like when they wasn't it the All-Star games they had, and it was the basketball thing?
Speaking of One Piece.
Oh, the Avatar drop. Let's not forget Hang in the Ice. That was crazy.
Speaking of One Piece, you sent me IMDb's top 10 shows of 2024, and number 1 over Fallout, The Boys, True Detective was One Piece.
Was it the anime or
The anime.
It was the anime.
The anime,
That-
according to IMDb, is the #1 show of 2024.
That I'm okay with. Not to say that the live action adaptation was bad.
I was actually thinking earlier
Was
today,
not.
I really fucking liked it, and I really want the next season.
That's
I mean,
fine.
I watched it twice, and I was just thinking, like, I don't know what I want to watch right now. I would legitimately watch that a third time. It's a great watch.
My hot take is if you enjoyed the One Piece adaptation, I don't see how you could have bitched about Cowboy Bebop. Not you specifically.
I was about to say, on the record.
Not you specifically, but I feel like the same people, all the same things that I feel like people were bitching about with Cowboy Bebop, I feel like were there for One Piece and people just ignored it.
I feel like Cowboy Bebop had the campiness where it was like, it was the
that's
more junk food.
Cowboy Bebop was a bit more campy than I think people had intended. They really wanted like a Daredevil, like remember when Netflix did like the run of like Marvel TV shows?
Yeah.
They wanted that for Cowboy Bebop, and that would have been cool.
By the way, Daredevil season 1 is actually like top tier television.
So was Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Like everything was good until Iron Fist came along and fucking ruined it. To bring up the campiness is fair, right? For Cowboy Bebop,
I feel like
a
if
show that wasn't really known for, but also if you really watch Cowboy Bebop, it had plenty of fucking campy moments.
It had anime tropes, but they were, for starters, they were anime tropes that stayed anatomically correct to the characters.
Are you just mad that they made Faye a lesbian? Like, cause
No,
Faye definitely
you
gives
remember,
off lesbian energy.
that's one of my favorite scenes in the anime. Jet opens the door, and she's like, "Don't you knock?" And he goes, "This is the engine room." That is one of my favorite scenes in that fucking live action.
No, dude.
By the way, Jet in that series was actually great.
I think they all played their roles. I think they all really cared.
Except for Vicious. Vicious was awful. Vicious was terrible.
I think that guy enjoyed his role too, but he just Jared Leto'd it up. Right? He really...
Vicious was terrible.
He really fucking... They could have just got Tom Hardy for all that bullshit. Oh, man.
God, Vicious was so bad.
Do you think that's what killed it? Right? Like, if they would have had...
No, I think, like...
No, because I feel like a bad villain can absolutely tank a show.
I agree. I think the point where I knew it was not going to be the anime was in the first scene where they're fighting in the casino spaceship and Spike does the cartwheel. And the camera follows him. And I'm like, all right, this is not going to be the anime.
Dog, that was so funny to me.
As soon as that happened, I was like, this is not the anime.
I was like, yo,
Just enjoy it for what it is.
who on the fight choreography department was like, yeah.
The cinematography team was like, let's just rotate that.
Cartwheel is where it needs to go. Cartwheel is where it needs to be at. Yes, that
Like the cartwheel I would have been fine with. The rotating the camera with the cartwheel, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, man, that shit was great. Bro, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I see what people are complaining about. Not to say that Spike wouldn't have done a fucking cartwheel in the goddamn anime, bro. It just feels like...
The cinematography was like, the anime didn't do anything like that.
No, it was very...
Like, that was like this is entirely new.
It was very Wes Anderson.
Honestly, you know what it felt? It felt very Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I want it directed by Wes Anderson, but I want it to be like Murder on the Orient Express. So it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Murder
Factory.
in the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, it's a murder mystery. We have to figure out who keeps killing these kids. But it turns out it's just he's been doing it in front of our face the whole time, right? Only Wes Anderson could tell that story where we all know who the murderer is already, but the rest of the people in the story don't.
God, that would be the best viewing experience ever, opening weekend at Arundel Mills. That would be the best viewing experience ever.
I think you're missing the point that is a much better way to tell the story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory than what we've been getting. Right? That Timothée Chalamet bullshit would fucking pale in comparison to this.
Has it come out yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was about to say, it'd probably be better than the Johnny Depp version.
The Johnny Depp version had the style was cool. I liked that because that was a.
If it succeeded on what it was trying to do, they wouldn't have remade it as quickly as they have.
That was Tim Burton, wasn't it?
I think so.
Johnny Depp, yeah. That's why the style was there, but Johnny is just pretentious, and he's been pretentious for a really long time.
Now, he's been busy for a few years.
Not then he wasn't. Then he was still riding the high of being fucking Captain Jack Sparrow, right?
Wasn't he also doing something else really big during the Pirates of the Caribbean run?
I mean, yeah.
Like, he got Sweeney Todd, I know that, but that's like, didn't he have another really big movie franchise
Sweeney
going at the
Todd
time?
as big?
It's a cult classic that keeps him going. I mean, it would be like A Beautiful Mind during Russell Crowe's Gladiator run.
A fucking musical about a serial killer is not what I thought I was getting into when I watched that movie for the first time.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be what we get when we watch Joker 2. Or Joker Folie à Deux, I think is what it's called.
I mean, Johnny Depp's catalog is not to be played with. Like,
No, it's really not.
Let's not forget, he was in Donnie Brasco, Platoon, Crybaby, Sleepy Hollow,
He was Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing.
Blow.
Rum Diaries. Also Hunter S. Thompson in that.
How could you ever forget The Ninth Gate? It's like, no, I'm kidding.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Corpse Bride. All kinds of shit. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I almost forgot he was in that.
I mean, Johnny is a good actor.
He is.
He's a good actor that wishes he was a musician, like we've talked about.
Yeah, which is where I think some of the pretentiousness comes from, right? Where he's like, I don't really want to be here, but I'm so good at it that I can't stop. It is very...
I feel like Chappelle feels like that, but like when he says that, inside he actually is like, I'm really fucking glad I'm here.
I'm gonna dub that the Marlon Brando segment, right? Because that is pure Marlon Brando, right? It's like, I don't really like care for this anymore, but I'm so good at it, and it gets me so much money that I'm gonna keep doing it. Even if it means showing up to set in my underwear with ice buckets on my head, I'm gonna do, which is something Marlon Brando actually, even if it means refusing to learn my lines, so much so that the people I am acting with in the scene have to wear index cards with my lines on them, which is something Marlon Brando actually did. That is a boss move.
Boss move.
I mean, it makes you an asshole.
Oh, yes. Yes, it fucking
But it is a boss move.
You know, it makes you Edward Norton. So
It makes you an asshole, but it is a boss move.
No, Edward Norton wouldn't make you wear cue cards with his lines on them. He would just change your lines before you did it.
He'd force you to ad-lib with him. Just improv the scene with me, bro.
Yeah.
Director's like, we have a script. He's like, just improv the directing, bro.
He's just gonna improv the scene by himself.
But we've already filmed scenes later in the movie. Just do some reshoots, bro. As long as you don't need me.
And I would have taken him as Bruce Banner over Mark Ruffalo 1,000 times, but he just...
I feel like Edward Norton would have done the neurotic Bruce Banner much better than Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I feel like Mark Ruffalo would have been a great second in command of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I feel like Edward Norton should be Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo should be the Hulk.
And we knew the whole time!
I'm just saying, like Professor Hulk, like, yeah, I feel like that is good Mark Ruffalo territory, right? Like, that is, when I see that version of the Hulk, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. This is fun, lovable Hulk. But, like, if we're doing, like, the dark, jaded figure that is Bruce Banner, right? Like, trying to reclaim his humanity from this experiment going wrong, then yeah, that's Edward Norton.
I guess I think the last thing is regarding the superheroes. I kind of want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine because it comes out this week.
Okay, we can. So, all right, what were your thoughts on that exactly? So do you feel like this is the climax of the Deadpool phenomenon? Do you think Ryan Reynolds will be hanging up the suit after this?
He won't be hanging up the suit out of necessity because they need him to tie everything together.
Do you think?
However, I think Deadpool has been played out for at least 5 years.
I think we will probably not see any more Deadpool movies after this.
We won't see any Deadpool movies, but we will see
words.
Deadpool.
Yeah, I do feel like Deadpool will probably have a pivotal role to play in the next culmination of Avengers.
In the transitional period.
I think he will
In the transitional period, he's going to be the thread that just kind of like, yeah, this is how all of this works.
I don't even think that. I think we will get random Deadpool cameos in certain things leading up to
Deadpool becomes the new Stan Lee.
Essentially leading up to the next climax of Avengers movies, right? Where
So Deadpool now appears in every movie instead of Stan Lee.
I mean, in some way, shape, or form, right? It would be easy for them to do with AI, especially with AI now, right? Like
it would be more, in my opinion, tasteful to do Deadpool in every movie instead of doing a CGI or an AI of Stan Lee.
Yeah. It also makes more sense, right? Because Deadpool is the character that randomly pops up in all of the Marvel movies and stuff.
And I mean, Stan's been dead for about 5 or 6 years at this point.
Yeah, which is about how long the Deadpool movies have played out. It's like, they're better than the Venom movies.
I haven't watched Deadpool 2. I kind of feel like I have to.
I've watched pieces of Deadpool.
And like, that's the thing. I hope that, like, for this Deadpool and Wolverine movie to really work, I hope that we don't have to have seen both Deadpool movies and all of the X-Men movies. Granted, I have seen all of those, but Deadpool 2.
Have you seen that they've all but made it official that they are transitioning from Kang being the central villain of this next arc to Doom being the central villain of this arc?
Yes.
Did we report on this already?
I know that it has been mentioned. It's still, like, very up in the air how they are going to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, with them doing the Fantastic Four, I'm sure that will be and I think Fantastic Four comes out 2020.
And it's also set in, like, the 60s.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And from the way the MCU, like, world is set up, it would be fine to just say that Latveria was already an established country that just wasn't fucking around with politics at the time.
I'm sure we will actually get more information about how they plan to handle this shift here, because like we said, it is terabytes of data that were leaked, and Marvel is a Disney property. So I'm sure there will be some information coming out in the future, which is just to say that none of this
is normal. But what should be normal is buying all of your Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, board games, card guide supplies, and One Piece trading card games at tokenmtg.com and use the promo code Ziggy to get 10% off of your order. But we will be back.
Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Summer?